So yeah, welcome to the weekly summary of our Tarkov tips. I'll just summarize the key points, so I will not go into too much detail. If you have any questions or anything, just come to our Discord and ask us in person. And we are going to start with the first tip of the week. It was related to the new marked room. So we have this new area on Lighthouse. This peninsula consisting of a couple of buildings, rogue spawns and so on. And there's also a new marked room. So it is opened via the shared bedroom key, which looks, well, you see it in the image, right? That's how it looks like. The good thing is this shared bedroom key, I don't know why, but it does spawn with 40 uses. So regular marked room keys and keys, like in general, have been nerfed this wipe, so they have 10 or 20 uses. This one has 40 uses. So that's really amazing for a marked room key. And it's in the same price category as the marked room key for 314 for the dorms marked room, so it's not more expensive, I guess. You can usually barter it for the taped key of Sanitar, so that's like the regular price limit for the key. And many players ignore this room, so it's not very popular yet, just because its location. So you need to go to this new area and you have to cross this kind of dangerous bridge, and many players just like to avoid it because of these circumstances you have. So for instance, like I got this key from my scav, so my scav just spawned with this key, and I opened the room like 20-30 times in an offline raid, like in repeated offline raids, and the loot was pretty decent in general. So you have a couple of valuable spawns on the floor. So it's a bedroom. You have obviously the bed. You have a jacket. You have a duffel bag and so on. But you have some loose loot spawns on the ground as well. So I think my best run was like 4 valuables on the ground, like the rooster, the Procol medallion, had a Bitcoin once. So it's a pretty decent loot overall if you want to make money. So definitely recommend it. If you have this key, use it. Just be aware that this bridge to the new area is camped quite often, so you better go as a duo or as a team. It makes things easier, definitely. And if you don't like this key, just barter it for the marked room key of dorms or something like that. So that's for the marked room. Definitely a good addition. What do we have next? Next is the UMP Butcher that you guys probably know from my last video I did a couple of days ago. So I think this barter is not a secret at all, because it's just it's sold out all the time, so everybody tries to use it. You need these I call them silver knives because of the handle. Some players argue that they are black. Who cares? You know what I mean. You need 7 of these knives. You go to Peacekeeper level 1 and he will provide you a wonderful and easy to control SMG. Now, the SMG is fine. It has around 40 recoil. It's easy to control in full auto, even on mid distances. You can just spray down your opponents. The ammunition is amazing. The match FMJ from Peacekeeper level 1 has enough penetration and costs you like $1. So it's really good for SMG early wipe. Now, the issue is that this barter is sold out immediately on restock. So if you want to use it, just you need to wait until Peacekeeper has his restock and then press the barter button immediately. And you have around like 10 to 20 seconds to do this barter. So if you want to do this, just be fast enough and you will get enough. Then a related tip: if you don't need the UMP and you want to make some money, just try selling these keys a couple of minutes before the restock. So, like 5 minutes before the restock actually hits, the knives cost around 8 to 10k on the flea market. So instead of bartering the UMP, just go and sell the knives for 9k each, and you'll make way more profit, and you will be able to buy the same UMP on the flea market for less. So right now the UMP costs us around, I think around, 30 to 40k. So sell the knives, buy the UMP on the flea market if you don't want to camp this barter. And next one, what else did we have? We have the obvious AK abbreviation list, which was quite helpful, I hope, because it's really easy to get lost in this AK jungle with all the names like AKS, MN, things like that. And actually, each letter has a certain meaning. So, for instance, the N, I think N is probably the most important letter, stands for the dovetail mount. So it basically means that this weapon was constructed for some sort of nighttime operations. So it has a dovetail mount, which means you can attach all sorts of dovetail scopes to it without the need to exchange the dust cover. So you don't need the bastion, you just can slap a cobra on it and you're fine. So not too bad. What else do we have? The S is kind of important if you want to mod your AKs, because having a folding stock has some limitations on your modding abilities. So you can't, it's not that you have all the stocks available all the time. If it's a S, so if it's a folding stock AK, you'll have some limitations in modding. So usually AKs coming from the S versions are not viable as, let's call them, meta weapons, just because they don't support all the kinds of attachments. On the other hand, they are pretty cheap. So if you go for AKM SN, which stands for folding and dovetail mount, it is usually pretty cheap on the flea market. You can just slap a cobra on it and a rubber pad, and you're good to go. Also, keep in mind that the AM, which is so usually the AM in AK is used as an abbreviation for modernized. It's not really viable in Tarkov right now because, so in real world, the AM stands for upgraded materials, so you have some other sorts of plastic and polymers involved. It's just an upgraded version. So actually, just forget about the AM. You know that the AK AM is basically something that shoots big rounds in contrast to the small AKs. And that's all about the AM. Good. Let's continue with what do we have? The food quests, right? This is probably one of the best quests early wipe, no matter if it's Jaeger or pharmacist or not pharmacist, therapist. You have a couple of quests that involve fetching food supplies such as Emilia crotons, iskras, MREs, and so on and so on and so on. And usually these items need to be fountain rate. So one very, very popular way to acquire such supplies would be to go to Interchange, maybe even with a scav if you're lucky. Go to Goshan. Goshan is this huge supermarket at the Emercom side of the mall. So it's not on the, if you use the main entrance of the Ultra Mall, it's basically like on the end of the mall. So it's just where you also have all sorts of PMC encounters and quests later on. So that's it's actually easy to find because it's red. It has the big fire burning inside the supermarket. So if you see the big fire, you're in Goshan. And there are some food shelves on the left side of Goshan. Go there and you will find all the supplies you'll probably need. So there are plethora of shelves with the food on it. Just go there and be happy. If it's empty, the second best option, in my opinion, would be going to Woods, because Woods has a lot of food supply crates as well. If you go to the Med camp or to the Usyk camps, you will find a lot of wooden crates full of tushonkas, iskras, and so on. And speaking of iskras do spawn in weapon crates on Interchange quite often as well. So in fact, there are some guaranteed iskra spots on interchange if you're looking for these crafts. Good. Next one is probably the best tip to save you some money this this week. It is the backpack, the so-called SFMP backpack, which is made for meds, so you can't store regular items in it. It supports meds only, so you can put stims inside it, CMS, healing stuff, and so on. And this is quite overlooked because obviously you can either find it. It's quite often in airdrops, or you just buy it from the flea market for around 200k. The SFMP, it has, if we just consider the size that it offers inside the container, it's just a little bit smaller than the med case. So the med case is 7x7, which is like 49 slots, and the SFMP is 6 times 8 slots, right? So it's not a big difference in terms of internal storage, but you will save more than 250k because the med case, even if you use the med case barter, right? My cats go crazy again. So even if you use the dog tag, the med case barters, this is way more expensive than the SFMP. The only downside is that the SFMP takes slightly more space in your inventory. So, it's just an early wipe or maybe a mid wipe solution. Later on, you should swap it for the med case just to save more space. But early wipe, 200k, grab it and you'll be good. Definitely recommend it. Now, last one is not published yet. It will come online today or tomorrow, which is the updated crafting pipeline for the ice cream cones quest. So at a certain point, Prepper wants you to bring him 3 60 round mags for AKs, and there are 2 ways to obtain. There are multiple ways to obtain them. First way is what Prepper actually recommends, is going to woods, to the bunker, and looking inside the bunker. I did 5 trials yesterday, and I have not found a single mag, so the spawn chance is not good enough. I would not recommend doing this bunker thingy. Sometimes you're lucky, but usually there are no mags inside. What you can do instead is either fighting raiders, maybe on labs or on reserve, or if you don't want to get involved into such sort of actions, just craft them in your hideout. So this is a complete pipeline. This is like all you need to craft the cones, starting from the ground up, so starting from the beer and the soap. You see the crafts were slightly changed. Now you need the beer and not water anymore to craft the shampoo. You also need some tools at certain steps, and then you'll be good. If you want to have a shortcut, just consider looting Oli and grabbing the keg tapes, because if you have the keg tape, which is the most important item for the craft, you can just buy the mags, like the small mags, buy the tool, it's pretty cheap, and just craft it. So you don't need to do the whole pipeline. But in case you want to do that, or you want to see that, maybe because you don't have flea market yet, this is the complete pipeline. So, yeah, stay tuned for the next week. We'll see what kind of tips we'll have. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. Bye-bye.